Good morning. It is 8:30, and as a heat wave gets ready to broil Connecticut, the race for governor is becoming a scorcher. Right now on Face the State, Joe Ganim and his improbable comeback. Can he defeat the party's choice for governor and become the Democratic nominee? We'll ask him. Also, he was the surprise of the GOP convention. We'll talk with Republican candidate for governor, Steve Obsitnik, and his take on the 2018 races. Hartford current legend Rick Green. Plus, our flashback. Do you remember this catchy Channel 3 jingle?
In the land of the three.
It's Sunday morning, July 1st, 2018.
From Eyewitness News, Connecticut's most watched local political program, this is Face the State.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us at our brand new time of 8:30 a.m. on Sundays. I'm Dennis House. The primary is only 7 weeks away, and the governor's race is pretty much all around us. It's on your phone, it's on TV, it's in the newspapers, on the web. Wherever you look, you're going to see ads for the candidates. There are, well, 7 candidates running for governor right now. 5 of them are Republicans. Mark Boughton, Tim Herbst, Steve Obsitnik, Bob Stefanowski, and David Stemmerman. There are 2 Democrats, Ned Lamont and Joe Ganim, and with us today is the mayor of Bridgeport, Mayor Ganim. Good to see you back here in the program. And first of all, congratulations for qualifying in the ballot, because last time we had you on, you were not sure of that. You were going out and getting all those signatures. What did that process teach you?
It's interesting. I'd always felt that I'd been somewhat of a sensitive and humbled through personal experience public servant. More recently, this last 6 weeks, I think made me even more in touch with some of the challenges, the obstacles that people have in just trying to make ends meet. And they've talked about me, second chance, and I support that. But even first chance opportunities for families trying to make sure their children get a good quality public education. I met so many people who pulled me into their house, maybe introduced me even to their, one woman I remember visually with her handicapped son saying, please, these are the social services and funding that's being cut impacts us dramatically, even just try to buy the basic necessities. So it was moving. And to touch or reach out to, now I didn't, certainly 32,000 in total is historic, but hundreds, maybe thousands myself in all cities and towns. So it was that type of experience that I think has made me not only a better, hopefully a better candidate and ultimately a better governor, a better mayor, and I hope a better person and even a better father when I think about my own children.
Ned Lamont has been down this road before. He has won a statewide primary, of course, over Joe Lieberman back in 2006. What is your strategy for victory?
Well, I don't think there could be a clearer contrast in the 2 candidates. First of all, I'm humbled by the honor to serve and the 32,000 people, grassroots, that have allowed me to be on the ballot in August 14th. But you have a, look, this is no disrespect, but you got a Greenwich millionaire, some who've said is greatly out of touch, doesn't understand a lot of the programs that exist that support people, renter's rebate and things like that. And you got a guy who's been knocked down, picked up, it rolls up sleeves, goes on the street door to door and says, I want to help, and has a record. I mean, what I have is a positive public service experience for some 14 years. So that's the backdrop. How that plays out in people's minds, who can they believe has a better vision. I talk about building a better Connecticut economy that works for everyone, focusing on our cities. I'm not sure what his message is, but mine is supported by grassroots. What I'd like to think when you talk about strategy is that this thing isn't one of those things where you see a millionaire, like the Republican millionaires, just spending money trying to buy an election. But 2 candidates who I would challenge Mr. Lamont to limit his spending to what we're spending, $1 million. Don't become the Linda McMahon of this election cycle. Learn from your past mistakes. Listen to your Lieutenant Governor candidate, Bisowitz, who said, you know, limit your spending. Let's be good Democrats. Let's limit our spending to $1 million, which is a lot of money. And in the Democratic profile, reach out to voters and really let them decide this thing, not buy it with money.
You've been very critical of Mr. Lamont's wealth. You were making fun of the number of toilets he has in his home recently, and some thought it was funny, others thought it was just silly. But if you look, there are other Greenwich millionaires who have served the state well, some would say, namely the senior statesman of your party. Richard Blumenthal is also a Greenwich millionaire, probably has a lot of toilets.
Different. Dick Blumenthal,
How so?
who I have great respect for.
What's the difference between Dick Blumenthal and Ned Lamont?
Because he's, matter of fact, almost every weekend, he's in the cities, he's talking to people, and he goes out and he helps people, and he has a public record history of decades. No disrespect to Ned Lamont, but you can't fly in every 8 years, raise your hand and say, I want to fix the problems, and then fly back out or go back on your, no disrespect, your yacht or to your mansion and say, you know, I'll come back next time I feel like it. There's Dick Blumenthal. I would like to think others. My 14 years of public service, this is dealing with some of the real problems that face people and trying to help them. Senator Blumenthal and I stood together on the, I think, on American and immoral immigration policies of the Trump administration. And then I went to El Paso to stand there with mayors from across the country to fight that as well. These are things that as a mayor, I do every day: balance budgets, try and make streets safer, trying to create jobs and a better economy. There's a big, the question, I don't know if you've framed that, there's a huge gulf between that experience of what I do, difficult as it is, what Senator Blumenthal does, as challenging as that is standing up to President Trump, and somebody who just wants to raise their hand, as I say, every few years, drop $10 million on the state and say, elect me. That part I don't get.
Voters want change, and you would be replacing, if you are successful, you'd be replacing a Democratic governor. And there are some Democrats in the state who say, I'm going to vote Republican because we need some change. What kind of change can a Democratic mayor from a big city actually bring after 8 years of Dan Malloy?
What we need to do, in many respects, the least glamorous part about the discussion and priorities is putting the state back on track, fixing, if you will, state's fiscal problems. Without doing that, and I've done that from a bankrupt city, putting it back on Bridgeport, back on sound financial conditions, I don't think anybody argues with that, incorporating in that a level of transparency and accountability I think we should bring to state government so that residents and the relationship that our state government has with all cities and towns and our residents is reinforced in a positive and in a reliable way. That hasn't been done. I believe that with those priorities, it is a Democrat, I think it's one would experience, and I think I bring that best experience, that can do that. If we allow this thing to go Republican, or go to someone who doesn't have experience, even on the Democratic side, you can just flash over to the next show after this maybe, and look at what's going on in Washington, where you have a millionaire without experience, or you have Republican priorities. Now you got a challenge as to the things that, even the things we're holding on to now that are difficult for people in trying to make ends meet and do better for their families in Connecticut.
Final question, if you are successful, who would you rather have by your side as a running mate, Susan Bysiewicz or Eva Bermudez-Zimmerman?
Well, I'm going to tell you, Line B offers the best opportunity for a better Connecticut of inclusion. I think whether it's gender, whether it's ethnicity, Line B on August 14th, it sounds like I'm giving a plug, and I guess I am, because the people should take a good look at. We are not those that were kind of anointed by the party at a convention, but people that worked hard, me through now being certified with 32,000 signatures. So I'd ask people to vote the entire second line, row B. Send a message to Hartford. Send a message they want positive change, that they have a sensitive, and hopefully we'll have a much more in tune government in Connecticut represented by the Democrats.
All right. Joe Ganim, thanks for being on the program. We'll see you on here again. I'm sure TV commercials as well are coming up, like everybody else, right?
Yeah, hopefully within the $1 million for both Lamont and Ganim, we can fit some TV commercials in.
All right, good to see you. Thanks for coming on. When we come back, we will talk with a Republican in the race, one of those businessmen that Mr. Ganim was referring to, and that is Steve Obsitnik. We'll be talking to him in just a moment. And we welcome you to visit our YouTube channel or our website, WFSB.com, to watch past editions of Face the State. We'll be right back.